welcome to Lich's Mastery. My name's Logan, and today we're going to go over a deck that can kill you on turn 4. Winota, Joiner of Forces. Winota is a 4-drop Boros commander with whenever a non-human creature attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can put a human onto the battlefield attacking with Indestructible. This card's busted, that's why it got banned in Historic on MTG Arena. This is a $100 build that I've made and had a lot of fun with. I sold it to one of my friends, and they're starting to have a lot more fun with it than I ever did. But yeah, you take this and you're gonna win on turn 4 most of the time, especially if you open up with Soul Ring and you get both your mana that you need. You can do over 400 damage turn 4 or 5 pretty easily with this deck. But anyway, let's get in with the enchantments that I run. There's some stacks things here like Blind Obedience that helps tap down artifacts and creatures. It slows your opponents down so you can kill them faster. You don't really have trample in this deck, so you want to try to hit them as hard as you can. You outnumber them pretty much. Berserker's Onslaught makes your creatures have double strike, which is how you power up to get up to your 400 damage turn 4 pretty easily. Crusade, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Winota's triggers is not once per turn, so for each non-human attacking, you get to look at the top 6 cards and put another human on the battlefield. So this can get crazy. You can pump your team really big. If you had 6 triggers, that's 6 +1/+1 counters that you're distributing across all your creatures, one at a time, but the ones that stick on the field the longest will be bigger than the ones that aren't. Warstorm Surge, like I said, you're spreading out so many creatures on the board that you're just going to zap, and get up to 400 damage pretty quickly. True Conviction, your creatures have double strike and lifelink. You're dealing a lot of damage, you're gaining all that life. It's nasty. This deck is really powerful, I'm telling you. You can make a budget build of this and still win pretty quickly with it. Deafening Silence, it just slows your opponent. It's a stacks card that slows your opponents down. You're not normally playing more than one non-creature spell a turn anyway, so it's good for slowing your opponents down so you can get in through. Dictator Helio, it's a flash. It just pumps your whole team by +2/+2, and Impact Trimmers is like Warstorm Surge, except it's just dealing 1 damage to each of your opponents as they come into the field. Hammer of Proforos gives your creatures haste. That's really important because you have a lot of token generators that don't have haste when they come in, so you want to try to swing with them before they kill your board. And now we're in artifacts with this. Whenever your white creatures cost 1 less, big deal. But that also makes your Winota cost 3 though, so I guess it is a big deal. But whenever you cast a creature, you make a 1/1 warrior creature token, which is not human, so it triggers off of Winota's effect. Soul Ring's a rock. I think it's one of the only rocks I really play in here. Then there's a Planeswalker. This is the only Planeswalker you play, Chandra. That makes elemental tokens. She makes 2 elemental tokens, which equals 2 Winota triggers for 2 more humans with Indestructible and coming in and attacking. Some of the now we're getting into the instants and sorceries. Path of Exile, removal, Akroma's Will. It gives your creatures basically what they need to hit, and Indestructible if need, protection from all colors. It's almost unblockable. That's pretty much what it says. Sword of Plowshare is a good removal. Now we're getting into the instants and sorceries that make tokens for your Winota triggers. Dragon Fodder, Hoarding Outburst. These 2 make goblins. Krenko's Command makes goblins. This makes white soldier creature tokens. Again, human is not in the keyword, so that means that they're just soldiers instead of human soldiers, which makes it so Winota triggers. Even though it's there's humans on the artwork, it could be. A soldier's a soldier. It doesn't necessarily have to be human, I guess. Master's Call makes mirror tokens. Release the Dogs makes 4 dog creature tokens. That's 4 Winota triggers, especially if you give them haste. That's right off the bat, 4 mana for 4 Winota triggers, which equal 8 creatures. It's crazy. Raise the Alarm makes soldier tokens. Goblin War Party makes goblins. Sator's Cunning makes a satyr. I didn't play a White Sun Zenith in this, mostly because it costs too much mana, and you want to spend your mana on other things than make a bunch of cats. I mean, you could run it. It would be really good if you don't have one of the cards in this deck build, but you could definitely run it. Now we're into the humans. Now you want to play like the best white-red humans. It doesn't matter if they're big or not, like mana-wise, because you're going to be cheating them into play. So like, let's say you have like a 6-drop human and you're like, oh, that's too expensive for this deck, especially with only a Soul Ring as a rock. Well, you're cheating them into play. If they're in their hand, you're probably not going to cast them anyway. You're just going to cheat cards out of your deck. You mostly want all of these token generator cards that help you make tokens to swing and get more Winota triggers. And so we got Audric. He's really good. He lets you choose which creatures block and how they block. This one, and a lot of these humans make more soldier tokens or like other kinds of tokens that help you. Like this one comes into play with tokens, and it says and it's like you can sack those tokens to make a fog, so you can pretty much swing out and protect yourself. Frontline medic counters something, can give creatures indestructible. This guy, when he dies, he makes a 2/2 white knight creature token, which is not human, again, with vigilance, and he pumps the team. Blade Historian, there's a lot of creatures in here that give your creatures double strike. He's one of them. He's one of the new ones from Strixhaven that gives attacking creatures double strike. Lancers, when it comes into play, you can search for a legendary card, reveal it. There's some legendaries that are pretty good, like a 1-drop dog that we'll get into. Angrass Marauders doubles the damage, so if you have double strike on the field, that's quad damage that you're doing. Sky Knight Vanguard is a human that makes white soldiers, not humans, so they trigger Winota triggers. These people here, Paya and Kieran, however you say his name, they make Thopters. Both versions of her make Thopters. And they have some other little bonus effects that don't really matter too much, that you're just playing them to make Thopters so you can get more Winota triggers. This makes spirit tokens, not humans, so they make Winota triggers. Alfing Houndmaster, yes, I run this guy because he searches out 2 dogs that help you get more Winota triggers, and he gets really big really quickly with the amount of attackers you get. Fiend Hunter is removal. When it enters, you exile something until it leaves the field. This girl, she makes a soldier token, and she can sacrifice her to basically all your tokens would have indestructible because they would be weaker than her, most likely, most of the time. This one lets you ramp a little bit, a situational ramp, but it's good to run in here. You run Heliod. This one makes soldier tokens. A lot of soldier tokens. This one makes Thopters. A lot of your humans make more creatures, so you get more triggers, so you get more board presence. It's just a big chain reaction. You're going to be looking through your whole deck, pretty much slapping down whatever you want or need at the time. This guy is kind of busted because he's busted in any white deck, because if you get him out on turn 2, your opponents can't cast their commanders unless they ramped into it on turn 2. So if you get it, he says your opponents can't play spells anywhere other than their hands. Their command zone is not their hands, so they can't play their creature or their commander. So you can shut off their commander pretty quickly. That's the only reason I really run him. This one, when it enters, it gives everything double strike. Hopefully you're winning that turn because he doesn't really do anything else after that. This one, if somebody board wipes you, you can exile it and return all artifact and creature cards from your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. So he helps you protect your board. Spellbinder lets you look at someone's hand and get a card out of it, make it more expensive for him to cast. This is a stacks human. It makes their stuff come in tapped, basically. This one pumps your team. This one pumps your team. This one makes more soldiers and pumps your team. Haktos is really good. He's unblockable pretty much if you roll and your opponent doesn't have anything of the number that you rolled, because he has protection from everything but that, so he's just a free 6. And if you double strike it, that's 12. If you quad it, that's 24. This one, whenever a white creature enters, you tap something, so it makes it easier for your creatures to get through and hit. This one has melee, and other creatures you control have melee. Just pumps your team. This one is mana ramp. This one's just like Fiend Hunter. It does the exact same thing. Exiles a creature when it enters. Magus of the Wheel filters your hand if you need it. This guy makes soldier tokens. This one makes a Thopter. This one prevent all combat damage that would be dealt, so the burn decks can't kill you, and he has haste, so that's good with that. Alpine, like I said, I run these 2 dogs because you have the 1 human that searches them out of your deck, so it's like free cards. Why not? Bolt Hound, it has haste, and it gives all your other attacking creatures +1/+0. Legion Warboss is a goblin. Okay, so now we're getting into the creatures that are not token generators. They can be token generators, but they're creatures that are already not humans that you play in the deck. So, like Goblin Soldier, he gets a trigger, plus you get a trigger. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 Goblin creature. So that's 2 triggers right there for 3 mana. Selfless Saver gives something indestructible until on a turn, and it's a 1-drop Winota trigger, pretty much. This one is Stacks card, and it's not a human, so he gets a trigger. This is a goblin that lets you get a lot more goblins by flipping coins. Now if that's the one thing, if something comes in tapped and attacking already, like not off a Winota's trigger, you don't get an additional trigger off of that. It's when you turn them sideways to attack, that's when you get the Winota triggers for it. So it just makes goblins for the following turn to get more Winota triggers if they can't board wipe you. This is just a vanilla dog. It doesn't do anything, but it's a 1-drop. So, and it's one of the off the human that searches a legendary. You can search this off of it. Anger is really good. If it's in your graveyard, all your stuff has haste, and each player can't cast more spells. It's just 1 spell a turn. It's just a stacks card that everyone loves so much. But anyway, yeah, that's my Winota deck. I hope you enjoyed. The last deck I did was my Rakdos one, Super Friends. I plan on keep making these videos for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Winota's busted. Yeah. Winota. See you guys later.